Buenos dias, okay? Buenos dias from San Antonio. It's like, okay, hi guys. Today's video, y'all don't understand how many videos I've recorded, but due to them not being unorganized, we have not uploaded any of them. So I'm trying to practice for the sake of y'all, because ain't nobody want to come on here and listen to nobody's ADHD or lost thoughts and try to be putting two and two together. I had to get it right for y'all. And so today's video is going to be about whatever the hell I put in the damn tagline, okay? I wanted to bring up a story. I wanted to talk to you guys about my relationship with money in hopes of maybe hearing a different perspective. It'll be understood on a different thinking level for other people. One thing I've noticed about my life is I don't realize that I have as much trauma as I did, because to me, growing up, it felt normal all the way up until now, when things start to hit the fan in different areas of my life, whether it be financial, relationship wise, whatever. It's all kind of, played its part and hit the fan. All kind of came together and hit the fan, because of course I'm supposed to learn something from it. There's something I can learn from it. There's something guys you can learn from my mistakes. So today's video is just about my relationship with money, and why, as when I was a child, I was just like, where it all started from. I've heard, and we've all heard of, like, our relationship and the way we view money. It correlates to how we receive money, our money issues or non-money issues that we have today. And I'm in a rush, so I'm like not gonna rush this topic, but I'm getting ready for my Sunday. Getting ready to have a marvelous, beautiful blue Sunday, because we're wearing blue, girl. We're wearing blue. But anyway, I wanted to dive right in it with just a backstory. This video is not to shame my family, my mother, my father, my sisters, friends. Like, the things that I bring up is not because I hate anyone or am holding grudges. I realize what things are and what they were and what they can be now. And so I want to utilize them to help people. My earliest childhood memories surrounding money were my mom. Affordability. We stayed with our parents, grew up with our grandparents, and they were pretty stable. Hell, they took care of my mom all the way up until this day, until my grandfather passed. Like, he was helping her out with us because they loved us, of course, and didn't want to see her struggle. The earliest money issues, big incident with money that I remember is just like my mom just saying, like, we couldn't afford things. Hearing that word, I can't afford this, and you couldn't have this because this and this and that. And that kind of made me feel a certain way. To this day, I don't like to use the word I can't afford it. I don't like those words. I don't like when people tell me that. It's very bougie, whatever you call it, what you want, but I don't like to hear that. If I can't afford something, I will use a whole nother word to describe that, or say that, or just not say anything at all. Keep it to myself. I feel like, though I'm not trying to bring race into it, within the black community and the way this country was built and the things that our ancestors had to undergo or whatever. I'm making it worse now. And this could be true for other races too. It's just not limited to the, African American. But I grew up with the concept that, white people thought I was broke. That's kind of how I was treated at the schools I went to. After I used to go to Detroit public schools, and then my mom moved to Livonia, and we were the black kids. And so she would say things like, oh, I can't afford it. And then just looking at everybody react to her say those words made me feel embarrassed. It made me feel ashamed, because I just wanted to be seen as good in everyone else's eyes, especially my mom's eyes. She was always upset. She was a single mom. Me and Desiree tried to do everything we could to make her happy, but I just feel like we failed because we reminded her of our father. And there was moments to where we felt like she hated us. We had CPS called a lot. Often we were hungry. Um, I don't know if that was due to neglect. I don't want to put that on her, but I'm gonna say it. Like, she was unhappy, and she was unhappy all the time, to the point to where we were just like, "Hey, I want a new mommy." But anyway, the affordability, she would say that, and I would just immediately feel ashamed and embarrassed. And I had this embarrassing connotation of not having enough, and I don't even know if that was the right word, but who cares? We just gonna say we gonna say. Um, but yeah, I just felt like we didn't have enough. I didn't feel that way with my grandparents. I did pick up on my grandfather's. He will always like try to prepare us for how the white world would treat us at a young age, and having just being seen as poor, you know. I just, that was a challenge to me, a challenge that I no longer, I mean, I don't want to say I no longer face. I still struggle with things now. I'm not rich. I am doing okay to support myself, but sorry, I definitely did scratch my nose there. But yeah, guys, let me focus because I have we have notes. And so, realizing money habits come from my childhood, not trying to blame my parents, but understanding the patterns to help me today. I just feel that at a young age had a big driving factor in when it comes to how money is now for me as an adult. I'm a person who wants to seem like I want to be okay even if I don't look it. And that's not me trying to hide or mask anything per se. And to each his own. You have your opinion, I have mine. But I definitely don't like, I like to look good. I like to look presentable. Okay? And it's not about looking rich or anything. I just don't want to stand out. I don't like to look messy, but all of it correlates, and I'm about to get into that. So that was one of the things that my mom would say, and people would say, "Oh, we can't afford it, we can't afford it," and I would just feel embarrassed. I remember not being able to afford like even the books at the book club at school, begging my mom for money, trying to save and earn allowance. And then giving her back my allowance. My mom was not good with money. Like, we had to, a lot of the stuff that we would save as child, or that she would give us as children to put in our piggy banks, um she would ask to borrow back, and we didn't mind anything to help her, to make her happy, because I just feel like she was definitely not happy with us. That's just how I felt. And then another thing, I'm trying to think, what other things, because I had made a whole list, guys, of things that I kind of felt embarrassed about growing up when it's surrounding money and how it affected my childhood. Hmm. Oh, saving money. I remember I had my first job at 15. I worked at Marshall's, and I wanted to save my own money. My mom charges gas money. Do I feel upset? Am I upset that she charged gas money? No, but I did see it. It's like, you want us to work. You said that we need to start working to help out, or I forget why I don't know if she necessarily said we had to help out, but no, I don't think she did. She just said we had to pay her gas money, and she would even have us late to work. Sometimes we would have to miss work. Um, and somehow we still got to keep our jobs. So, hard workers. I was a hard worker. I liked it, earning and having my own money, because I just felt in control. I didn't have to worry about my mom having money, and I could have money for school. Being on free lunch is a good one. I'm just remembering now. Free lunch was a little embarrassing. I remember there would be times to where we walked through the line and they'd be like, your account isn't going through. I need to pull you aside. And they would be like not wanting to give us lunch, but they're not going to keep a kid from eating, so they let us have it. But it was definitely something old. My mom would not keep up with the paperwork for free lunch or whatever you had to do, and so we would have to it would be embarrassing, because then the kids would be looking at us like, damn, you can't afford lunch. And you guys know how kids are. People don't understand. Children, teenagers in school, like are tough, they're rough. They are tough and rough because they will definitely call you out. It was like when I went to the white schools, what I would call white schools out in the suburbs, when I lived in Livonia, when we moved to Pennsylvania, they were grotesque, girl. They were judging because we came in and we looked good. We came in and it wasn't they weren't doing it because we looked good. We just came in and we stood out. And so they were just looking for something. Looking for something. Anything. Because we were too confident. Me and my sister would walk around in 8-inch heels in high school. Because we absolutely wanted to. We wanted to be those girls, and we were those girls. Everybody was like, "Oh, have you seen the new girls? This, and that, and the third, and oh my God, and this, and that." And we were just talked about. Things would get around, move around, and so people were interested in us because of that. They were trying to figure us out because we were not like, I guess, the regular black people who always go there. We didn't fear them, and they was not about to be talking to us like we was crazy or we was gonna throw some motherfucking hands, okay? But anyway, that was another thing. The free lunch situation. Also, having a job at 15, I would give my mom my money because I was saving up for some hair, some extensions, and we took very good care of our natural hair underneath extensions. And us being so far from Detroit, our home, and living in Pennsylvania, we didn't have time to be worried about who gonna do our hair in those areas. We didn't know anyone. There was one girl who I think my mom and Jalen would go to, my younger sister would go to get their hair done, and she lived in the same like little townhomes as us. That's another thing, where the bus dropped us off at. I would lie and tell people at school that we lived in a house. And they were like, "No, you don't. No, you don't." And even though it's not none of their business, I can lie. You don't. And then I remember it got to a point to where they were trying to figure out where we lived and was following us on a school bus to see where we got off at. And I would get off at the wrong stop because it ain't none of your business. I said what I said, even though it was a lie. And so I'm sure they eventually figured it out, but I don't care. It was like boys that we were dealing with, and they just wanted to. I don't know what the purpose of them trying to figure out where we lived and our finances were. But I remember lying and trying to throw people off because it ain't none of their business. People were just so, like, enamored by what we did or who we were. They were just trying to figure us out. Sorry, y'all, my nose is itching. And so, my eyes. Uh-oh. And so, sorry. That was that. Another thing that has in childhood that would happen that people that I would notice is, oh, I keep forgetting to get to it. Sorry. I would work and I wanted to save my money, and my mom, I would give it to her. Like, "Hey mom, can you hold this? I try not to spend it because I'm trying to save up for whatever." And she would be like, "Okay, yeah, absolutely." Little did I know, that's when I really got to figure out who my mom was. When it comes to money, she has no boundaries. She has no respect. She will do anything for some money. I don't want to say anything, but she was just no bounds. Like, even with her own children, it was fucking crazy. And the things that she's done to her own parents, like, again, not trying to air her out, but just trying to keep it transparent because it all leads up into something. I gave her my money. I gave her, say, about maybe like between $300 and $500. And when I asked for my money back, she cursed me out, called me out my name, all these type of things. because I was asking for my money back because I was saving it because I wanted to do something with it. And when I finally asked for it back, it hurt me, and I'll never forget this. It hurt me so bad, guys, because I just wanted my money back. I told her what I was doing, and for some reason she wanted to go off on me and tell me that, what the fuck, you asking for your money back? I was gonna use that money to get you an iPhone, the new iPhone and this and this. I'm like, I never wanted that. I told you I was giving you this money and while I was saving it. And she just took it upon herself to make up this lie. She spent my money. She probably paid a bill. She probably just went off on me. I do all this for you guys. This and that. Well, you decided to have us. Anybody asked you to do shit. Manipulation tactics. What I don't understand about our parents is they put us through this shit as a child to cover up or do whatever they selfish reason, and it traumatizes us, and then we grow up making bad decisions because of the trauma, and they want to take no responsibility for it. I just don't understand that. I don't understand it. Like, you can't talk to any of y'all. I'm 31 years old, about to be 32 this year. And if you're around my age, try talking to your parents. Try getting them to take responsibility for doing some shady shit that affects you to this day that they complain about that you do. Like, what do you mean? Like, what do you mean? What do I mean? I don't even know what bracelet I want to wear. Am I going to do the pearls? I don't know, girl. My nose is itchy. But yeah, guys, those are some instances that are really triggering and where a lot of my trauma started. Let me grab my notebook, because this is what's gonna keep me organized on these damn motherfucking story time shit. But anyway, yeah, I growing up financially stable changed me. It definitely changes me now, because now that I noticed that's where it was coming from, I'm able to see it and connect it with something better. Now, moving on, what I'm going to do to fix this, or how to practice to fix this, what I've realized is it comes from emotion with me. My mom would have these boyfriends who did nothing for her. She took care of the majority of the bills. They literally leached off of her, and we saw this growing up. And another thing that kind of traumatized us was every place we moved, we would always move when her boyfriend cheated on us, cheat on her. It felt like us, but cheat on her. And so we would start over in a new spot. We would be so happy because we didn't want him there. Like, he was weird. He wanted control, and to control situations and influence situations without contributing to the household. He was one of those type of men who just, like a pimp, have nothing to offer but the mouthpiece and wants you to listen to them. And I'm sure not all pimps are like that, but yeah, I'm sorry, my nose is itching. My allergies is bad in Texas. But we would move, find a nice home, move in there. We will always be hungry. It was never enough food. I don't know if that's just kids are just hungry or what, but we never had enough food, because she would always overspend on clothes and making sure we looked a certain way. She wanted us to look good without actually being good. And I remember one day she told me that my grandmother Chris told her, and I don't think she told her to be nasty, but she told her, trying to upkeep them and make them look a certain way is going to cost you. She said something to her that she's always hung on to, and so she always tries to make us look good when we're covering up the hunger, covering up the issues that are really going on in our home. And so we moved into this place. I remember so happy, close to school, could finally ride the bus. It was like the perfect neighborhood. I was just so happy to live there. And she ended up, everywhere we moved, we would get kicked out because she was not paying rent. And so we would get kicked out. The landlord would be, tell your mom to call me, tell your mom to call me, tell your mom to call me. And we're like, Mommy, the landlord was here, he's telling you need to pay rent. He would get to the point where he was writing that shit on the door. And so I'm sure our neighbors would be like, what the hell? And then and I hated staying. I love being close to school, but I also hated it because when she wouldn't pay, like, they're gonna come over and try to get their payment, and then I got other kids down the block looking at me and like gossiping about me because she ain't paid such and such. And so I didn't want to be seen as that kid, and we was probably seen as that kid. Free lunch, coming from the inner cities of Detroit, like, it was just not the look that I wanted. I don't know what look I wanted. I just wanted my life to be easy and not be judged based off of these things. But we were, and it's unfortunate, but it is what it is. Having all this shame around not even being able to afford where you live, going to churches to get food not because my mom couldn't afford it. My mom could afford it. She just didn't manage her money right. She wanted to buy shoes and shit. She has a shopping addiction to this day that she admits to. And I don't know how it affected my other sisters, but it affected me. I was always embarrassed of being seen a certain kind of way. And other people in my family, they were always like, I'm sure they envied us a little bit. I mean, you can tell that they were envious because we're nice kids and they just picking at us, or just their parents didn't like us, or it was envious. And so that eventually made them that way. And I don't want to sit here and say all of them. Sorry, y'all. My nose is itching. And so I'm not going to sit here and blame them and make somebody seem jealous, and they probably wasn't. But I'm just saying, like, hey, if the shoe fits. I got cousins and friends who don't like me, and I ain't did a motherfucking thing to them but live my own life in my own world. Ain't did shit. I know my friends probably like, I know this, you better hurry up. I'm on the way to the mall, guys. Not to spend money. I'm not spending money. I'm just going with my friend. But anyway, that just had it put me, it was no stability. I was shameful. We were in survival mode. I've been still trying to get out of survival mode to this day. And now I'm just I'm in the situation to where I'm able to see what I've been through in my life and try not to make the same mistakes, go back down them same loops. And end up telling them same tales to my children, or doing the same thing to my children. I don't want to repeat these cycles. I just want to free myself. I'll eventually free my family. But getting back to it, I don't know if you guys had the same issues growing up when it comes to your mother and or whoever raised you, like just being embarrassed for free lunch, being embarrassed moving all the time, being embarrassed hungry all the time, sometimes not even able to afford lunch. And I realized that just like my mom, I have the same issue. My emotional state dictates how my money is being spent, and that's what I've identified. I noticed that if I'm going through something with a lover I'm dating, or a friendship, or if I'm feeling lonely, really it's just usually lovers, to get out of the house, you got to spend money. I'm going to go get drinks, I'm going to go eat, and I'm spending a ridiculous amount of money because I'm bougie. One, I believe quality over quantity, and I want to eat the best things for myself. And so being set up like that, of course you're going to be a little bit more expensive. Ended up spending money on food and clothes and get the shopping, and the next thing I know, I didn't overspend. And luckily I don't have any children who get to suffer through that, and I'm trying to get out of that and do things to practice, like getting myself not to make those same decisions that she made. And now that I've realized that and I can identify where it was coming from, she would do these things to get away from them. She has a shopping addiction because she's able to control how much is being spent, so maybe she feels like she can control something in her life. I don't know, I can't guess for the reasons why she did it, but all I know is I have the same issues to this day. And so what I know, where I feel like it's coming from for me, and how I can identify it and try to move forward, is to know that if I'm sad and this person hurt me, get rid of them. Don't allow them to keep coming back and playing with your emotional state, because that's only going to lead you to overspending to try to escape those emotions. Deal with those emotions, deal with that pain for the couple of days. Keep your ass inside. Cook yourself some home cooked meals to show yourself you love yourself. And stop looking for external validation by going and sitting at the bar and having drinks and meeting people to distract yourself from the emotional turmoil that you go through with the people that you're dating. And this is what I'm telling myself. And so those are some really big things that I've connected to my money issues that I've had in life, and where they're coming from and how they're interconnected. And so now that I have identified that, what I plan on doing moving forward is just, one, being in solitude. I am single right now. There are people that I date and maybe talk to, but I am, for the most part, pretty freaking single. And I don't allow them to capture or take all of my emotions. Like, I don't want to say emotionless. I just don't wear my emotions on my sleeve so freely. And I don't invest emotionally in people so freely anymore. You have to earn an emotional investment for me, because everything affects everything. And when I say this so much and it sounds so cliche, your emotional state will sometimes dictate where other sectors in your life. You think it's about love and romance, but if you look at your spending, you will see that they're interconnected. You spend it so much, why? You see what I'm saying? So emotional spending, financial trauma, identity, definitely was easily embarrassing, but now I'm not as much. I feel like now I try to purposely embarrass myself, because y'all, I get easily embarrassed. I could trip over my own toe and I'd be like, oh, I need to go to the bathroom. But no, I'm a human. I have this idea that I'm supposed to be perfect. And that's what another thing I noticed within, I don't know if it's just the Black community, if there's other races of women who have experienced this within their own community, or if it's just a people thing. Being a child is sometimes traumatizing in this world. When I look back, I'm like, damn, I'm easily embarrassed, because my mom would do some wild shit, okay? Complaining to get free meals, all these little different things, and we just be sitting in the car and just like, is it gonna work? Is it gonna work? Can we leave now? Because I just wanted her to be fair and earn her keep and just do what was right, because that's what I would do. But she'd been out here longer than me, obviously. But anyway, guys, that's just what I wanted to talk on. If you want to do a part 2 in this video and get more in depth into specific situations, just let me know. But I wanted to just start off talking about where my money issues came from. And now that I know this at this late of age, it's not too late. It's not too late. Don't have people thinking that you're too old, or that, anything. Money can be gotten once you get your head right. Once you figure out the problems, y'all need to get the digging in that closet, get the digging out them drawers, and explore your childhood again. At my age, I'm exploring my childhood again and connecting the dots, so that we can really break cycles. It's not enough to just acknowledge, like, oh, okay, I have this issue. Okay, now what? Figure out where that issue came from. Figure out how I got here today, and then make a plan for a different future. And so, hey, that's what we're going to do. That's what we're going to work on. And I would love to keep y'all updated with my progress. I'm not rich, but I do plan to be very, very soon, because we're going to be doing new things. We're going to be breaking generational curses and cycles. And I would love to do that with y'all. So if you enjoyed this conversation, thumbs up, subscribe. There's going to be more. I feel like I didn't even get to go into depth, but I also don't want these videos to be too long. So if I have to make a part 2, it's going to be a part 2. But until next time. keep your ass at home and stop spending money. Bye.